Hi you guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sigrid and I make videos about books because I love them. Today I'm going to be doing a huge book haul from various places. A lot of this is going to be my pre-orders from Barnes & Noble, but I also have books from other places as well, including ARCs, which is advanced reader copies sent from the publisher with kind of like the expectations that I would read and then review those books. But let's get started with my favorite book so far. I actually have read this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this, and this is Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang. This was a present for my recent birthday. My birthday was June 16th, and it came from one of my best friends. Her name is Simone, and she has a channel on YouTube, but she doesn't really do books. She does more like girly beauty purse videos. So if you're interested in those types of things, I'll definitely link her in the description box so you guys can check her out as well. But Yellow Face was pretty good. It was definitely a satire book, and I'm glad that I knew going in, because I feel like if you don't know that it's satire, you will just be extremely uncomfortable. This book was made for you to feel uncomfortable. It was made for you to feel the inner thoughts of someone who is racist. But yeah, that's all I can say. I don't want to give the plot of the story away, but it was really, really good. I recently picked this graphic novel up. It's called Frizzy by Claribel A. Ortega. And I got this from a book event that happened in Maryland. I went with one of my other friends, and I wanted to get something from the event, and so I ended up getting this from their bookstore. I just thought it was really cute, and so it has really nice fun and pictures inside. I haven't read it yet, but I definitely feel as though I will probably read this in my downtime pretty soon. Recently I went home and I did not realize that Alabama has an Ollies. I've always wanted to go because I have seen quite a few people do book hauls from Ollies. And when I went home to visit my mom and my family that now lives in Opelika, Alabama, I realized that they have an Ollies. So when I went there, I actually saw this book set for only $6. This is the Twisted Tales Disney series, and it comes with 3 books. It comes with As Old as Time, A Whole New World, and Once Upon a Dream. And it's still sealed in this pack, but I think it was a good bargain. I also got the Ultra Planner from Little Inklings Design. This is their newest like product that they have. It's like the larger version of their planner. I haven't really looked into it just yet, but it was something that was recently released, and I definitely knew I needed to get it. So I got that. And I think it's undated. If you're interested in how it looks inside, I think that the creator of this planner does a lot better than I could ever do in this video. So I will link their Instagram to the description box so you guys can check her work out. I also went to a thrift store recently and got a few books. During my birthday month, they actually sent me a coupon, so I got a lot of these on sale. The first thing that I got was Mariah Carey's biography. I'm a biography girl. I love a memoir, and I've been meaning to pick this one up, but I kind of waited, and when I saw it in the thrift store, I was like, I should get it this time. But this is The Meaning of Mariah Carey. I saw volumes 1 through 4 of The Walking Dead, and I thought, you know, this would be the perfect time for me to get into this series. Normally, whenever I see graphic novels in there, it's normally like volume 30 something, but to see it like from the start and to get all 4 of them at one time, I think that it was a good deal. I also got Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy. I think I have Good Girl Complex, but I don't have this one. So it was a good addition to my collection. And then I saw this book. It's Hunger by Roxane Gay. I think it's like nonfiction, but I really want to see if this is something that I would be interested in. I always wanted to read more from Roxane, so I am excited to see if I like this. So now we're going to get into some of my pre-orders. Most of my pre-orders comes from Barnes & Noble, but I do have some that came from Target. I don't know which one is which, so I'm just going to show them all at once. This one I knew that I was going to get. This is Riley Sager's book, The Only One Left. I'm a huge Riley Sager fan. He's one of my favorite thriller writers, and so I had to get it. I feel like I'm not going to do justice with this description, but follows Leonora Hope, and this is going to be like kind of like inspired by the Lizzie Borden like mass massacre. Like, if you guys don't know the story, she was someone who murdered her family allegedly, or maybe I don't know if it was proven or not, but she murdered her family with an axe. And with this one, it's kind of like a person did as well, but no one could prove it. It's kind of just like a child's tale of everyone thinking it, but no one could prove it. And so like she's like an old woman now. She meets this home health aide, and she tells this person that she's going to like tell them everything that happened. And apparently there's more to like the massacre of their family than like that people know. So I'm excited about this. This sounds really, really good. I think there was another Riley Sager book, if I'm not mistaken, that came out recently. I think I want to do a video where I read both of them and kind of like rate them as well. I also got the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Okay, so this book is going to be so freaking cute, and it's the reason why I got it. It's definitely like a supernatural kind of thing, but it reminds me of that one movie. I don't remember what it was, but it was something about a mailbox where they can like communicate with each other. It was like a love story. One person lived in the future, one person lived in the past, and they communicated with the mailbox. I think it was You Got Mail, but I could be mistaken. But anyways, in this one, it follows Clementine West. She is a book publicist that moves back to like her aunt's apartment, and she sees a man like living there, and it turns out that he is not real. Like, he is from like 7 years in the past, but some reason, because of the apartment or something, they can like see each other, I think. And I guess it's their love story. Isn't that cute? It's crazy, but it's cute. Like, what? Okay, and then we have 0 Days by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware, I owe everything to. She is the reason why I read thrillers to this day. Like, my first thriller was Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. And also Alex Michaelides, The Silent Patient, was like, I read them both around the same time. That was the reason why I fell in love with thrillers. This will automatically be an auto-buy author. She will always be a pre-order author, and I'm in love. So in this book, it follows Jacinta Jack Cross and her husband Gabe. They are security penetration specialists, so they're hired to test the strengths of like security systems. So they have to like stage break-ins, like physically as well as digitally, and they're really good at what they do. And then all of a sudden, Jack comes home and she finds her husband like dead for some reason, like I don't know, and she's the main suspect. So now like she doesn't know who she can trust. Like, everything is going wrong. Ruth, thank you. I know you will never see this video, but I love you, lady. Thank you for giving us these thrilling, edge of your seat moments with these epic plot twists. I just know it's going to be a plot twist in there, and I can't wait. Next up, we have You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. Kaylin Bayron is another author that I have like so many books from on my shelf that I really just kind of want to take them, read them all, and give you guys my opinion on them. And they ranged from like different things. Like, this seems like it's going to be horror or like a thriller. And then she has Cinderella is Dead, and then she has This Poison Heart. So I'm excited to read that, and especially Cinderella is Dead, because I heard that there's like queer representation, and I love that. Okay, I know I'm gonna like this. So this follows like a teenager named Charity. I think she's a teenager. It says she has a summer job, so I'm sure she's a teenager. So she worked at this camp pretending to be like the final girl in like a horror thing. People will pay to be like in this terror horror game, you know, and so she has to like pretend and do that. But for some reason, like the last weekend of the season, her co-workers start to disappear, and it becomes like really real. Like, people are really dying, and so now she has to like kind of like solve it and get out of it. Like, you know, it definitely sounds really good, and this looks like it's going to be such a short read that I'm like really curious about just starting it right away. Then we have Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. This is a book that I have been really anticipating for quite some time. I love the cover, but I also am a huge mermaid fan, and you know, conspiracy I truly believe that mermaids exist. Like, you can't tell me any different. We have nothing to say that they don't, so like, let me believe in what I believe in, okay? but I love this cover. One of my book boxes actually has this book, but they have the special edition version, but it doesn't have the girl on the cover, so I feel like I like this just a tad bit more. Okay, so this follows, I'm not sure if I will pronounce her name right, but it's Cherish. So she is a siren, and she is someone who has to lie about being a siren because she doesn't want to be treated differently, and she wants to be a soldier in training in this like prestigious like barracks. And so I don't think you can be in there if you're a siren. She actually has no control of her powers, and so she also has to lie to her family to say everything is under control, but she has like this urge to kill people. Someone actually discovers her secret and starts to blackmail her, and so she has to take a job as a personal bodyguard to the prince, and her and the prince have to work together to figure out who the hell is killing everybody in town, but she can't say nothing because it's her. I think it might be their love story, but I'm not really sure how that's gonna end, honey. If like you're searching for somebody and it's you killing these people, I don't think you can overlook that for love. But I'm excited to find out. That sounds good. I can't wait. I'm gonna read this soon too. Okay, so next up we have Cherish. This is book number, I don't remember, of the Crave series. I have just been collecting this series. I need to really sit down and just read it all in like one go, because honestly it's taken up quite a lot of my shelf. Like this book series, all the books are thick, and I know it's about vampires, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I really should have just read book 1, but I don't want to. I always like to take advantage of the pre-order sales from Barnes & Noble. And if I start book 1 and I really like it, I don't want to have to wait for the next ones to come. So I just bought the whole series, and then I just keep buying them until I read them. But this is the latest book. It's Cherish. And since this is like a series, I don't want to say what this one is about to like not spoil it for myself or for you guys. Okay, so next up we have Forever Is Now, and this is by Mariama J. Lockington. Look at that cover. Isn't it cute? I love the blue. I love the flowers. Oh, I love the hair. Okay, Fro. Okay, so despite the happy and fun flowery cover, this book gets to the nitty-gritty. It covers topics such as police brutality, anxiety. There's also representation for agoraphobia, which I actually haven't seen that since that one book about the woman in the house. You remember that horror? They made it into a movie, and then they made a parody about that movie, if you guys remember, but she couldn't leave the house. I have not seen representation for that for a really long time, but it's the fear of leaving the house. But yes, she wants to be active in the protests, Sadie here, and she can't leave her house. So she's like, how do I even cover from that? And also there's LGBTQ representation because Sadie has a girlfriend, so I'm assuming that she is, you know, part of that community. So this is beautiful. I can't wait to read that and to get that representation. Like I just know that it's going to be beautiful and a tough read, but a very necessary read. So then we have book 2, To the Final Strife. These are some thick books. Like, I really, really want to read them. But look how big this is. Like, dear Lord. But I'm a cover girl. And then also, I am a series girl. Like, I have to complete a series. If I have book 1 and you continue to come, I have to keep buying it. I have a problem. Please help me. This one is The Battle Drum, and this is book 2. I'm not going to really say what it's about because I don't want to spoil myself from the first book. Okay, and then we have another book that I'm so excited about. I think this is more sci-fi fantasy, but this one is That Selfsame Metal, and this is by Brittany N. Williams. Look at this cover. Oh my gosh, like, wow. I love it so much. It is so beautiful, so gorgeous. This is definitely fantasy. There is fae in here. It follows this character here, I'm assuming. Her name is Joan Sands. She's 16 years old, and she has the power to manipulate metal. So she is responsible for making like swords for like stage blades. So I think that's really cool. And then there's also like fae here, and I think there's a war. That was a horrible like summary of this book, but there you go. After a while, I just started like looking at like the sci-fi like stuff, and anytime I saw a black face, I hit add to cart. So this one is The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. It says don't open the door. It just looks so sci-fi, and I really want to get into more sci-fi. So this follows a captain. Her name is Jacqueline Albright. I'm assuming this is her. She is on a ship and they are, I guess something happens. Something drastic happens and she's like trying to keep the last amount of humans alive, and so they're going back to Earth, but like they're badly hurt. And you know, as they're like traveling back to Earth after whatever happened, there's someone or something on their ship that is picking them off one by one, and so they have to figure out who this is and like how to stop them, because like this is the last few people on Earth, well, from Earth. And that's what this book is about. Oh, you guys, I am so excited. This is another auto by author for me, and that's Geneva Rose. I've read like a couple books from her, and I really liked her, the way that she writes. It's so easy to read. I love the plot twist, and I just like everything about her writing style, honestly. But this one is You Shouldn't Have Come Here. Wait, is it blurred by Colleen Hoover? Colleen Hoover herself says Geneva Rose is the queen of twists. I agree, she really is. I read her stuff for the plot twist because I know I'm never safe when I read her books. Okay, so this one follows a New Yorker. Her name is Grace Evans. She decides to book an Airbnb on a ranch in Wyoming. And while she's there, like she meets this guy he's staying at like a nearby ranch, I think, and they start to like really like each other and be around each other. It starts to seem like it's going to be a lovey-dovey romance or whatever, and then you're hit with the plot twist, right? It tells you right here, once her vacation is starting to come to an end, he starts to get a little obsessive, like he's not gonna let her go. And so she's just like, nah, you're crazy. So something gonna happen. His name is Calvin, and you're gonna figure out like he's hiding something, including his reason for staying on the ranch. There's also a missing lady and no cell phone service up here, so that does not help. This is gonna be good. I just know I will eat that up. I will eat that up. Then we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is another like auto buy author, but honestly, I did not want this in hardcover. I don't know why I ordered it in hardcover, because all of her other books are not hardcover, and then the special editions that I have from like Illumicrate, they're not this big. They're like a weird like UK size, so I don't know what I need to do. So it follows this ex-couple, I guess, Harriet and Wren. They were a couple, and they're like all kind of met in college, so they all share the same like college friends, and they go on like this like little vacation together every year. And so this year they're lying to their friends because they just don't want it to be like a big thing, so they're lying that they're still together, and so they have to pretend to be together. I think that's really cute, and I hope that they end up like back together after pretending. One of my favorite tropes is like fake dating, and even though this is kind of like an extended version of that, like it is, but like also like they dated before, but I still think I would love this because it sounds good. I also got the latest Spy Family volume. I think I stopped at 7, so I still have to read 8, but I also got 9. I got Ellie Hazelwood's latest book. This is Love Theoretically. I feel like this is another author that I have just been purchasing their books without actually reading their first book. So I'm really hoping and listening to you guys as to like whether I would like this, because I really just need to read The Love Hypothesis first, you know? Okay, so this follows a woman named Elsie Hanaway. She is a physicist. She's a physicist by day, but like her little like night job, her way of like making some extra cash is pretending to be the girlfriend of her clients, which I honestly would do that. Like I would love to be like treated like a girlfriend without having to like, you know, I'm not gonna do anything. I would just pretend to be your girlfriend. You know, for the people that can't get anybody, I would love to do that. Like, yes, sign me up. Like, take me out on a date, show me around, I will be there. But the thing is, like, I can definitely anticipate someone seeing me and being like, hey, isn't that someone's girlfriend? And I wouldn't remember you. But anyways, she pretends to be someone's girlfriend. One of her favorite clients, his older brother, ends up being like someone who is like at her job. Like, he stands between her and her dream job. I don't know if he's like going up for the job or if he's someone who does the hiring. I can't really tell based on the summary, but I really think that it is messy in a good way, as in like an interesting way. I would hate for it to happen to me, but It sounds good. Then I got Tessa Bailey's latest book. This is Unfortunately Yours. I do have to, like, I've read quite a few of Tessa's books, but I do have some more work to do when it comes to like keeping up. Okay, so this follows Natalie Voss. She is someone who, she recently had a breakup and she returns home. She's hoping to start a new business venture with her like trust fund, but as a caveat to getting her trust fund, she has to get married first. And like she just had a breakup, so she's like, I have no one to marry at this point. But there is a guy that's also there, and he is struggling with a wine vineyard. His name is August, and they both don't like each other. It's definitely going to be a hate to love kind of situation here. And like she's gonna propose to him, and they're going to have to pretend to be married so that she can get her inheritance. I think it's really cute. This sounds really cool. Another one of my favorite tropes is hate to love, or enemies to lovers is better in my opinion, because that hate, okay, I stand by it every time I explain this. That hate that you have, that passion that you have to hate someone, when you transfer it to love, just imagine the amount of passion that is going to come out. Like, you can't get that from anywhere else other than hate to love or enemies to lovers. Like, it's be like, I want to kill you. And that transfers to like, when you transfer it over to like the love side, oh, yes. Okay, so now we're gonna get into this thing that I got from the Bookish box. I don't know if you guys saw this, but a while back I did an unboxing of the Winter Chronicles, and I think these are the tip-ins that went with them. I wasn't even expecting them. I think they sent an email, but like I didn't really pay attention to it, and I just randomly got this in the mail. I think I picked this up at Dollar Tree. This is called The House Swap by Rebecca Fleet. It sounded really interesting. So it reminds me of that one movie, I think it's The Holiday, where the two people, like, they decide to swap houses for a little period of time. So here, it's Carolyn and Francis. They receive an offer to swap their apartment. They live in the city, and they're going to switch it out to go to a London suburb. And they have like some issues with their marriage, so they're hoping to work on it, you know, while they're doing this swap. And while they're there, I mean, it gets worse. But also, Carolyn is starting to like recognize like certain things from the house. It just reminds her of her. And so she's like, this person knows me. Like, this is creepy. So I don't know, it gives me thriller vibes. This is an ARC, I believe, that I got. It's called The Quiet Tenant by Clemens McCollin. I saw a spider. That was crazy. The Quiet Tenant follows a man named Aiden Thomas. He is a hardworking man that has a family and all of that, yada yada yada. Cut to the chase, he's a serial killer and a kidnapper. Yeah, so it's gonna be from his point of view. I think he's gonna have a crush on someone. He's gonna move and he's gonna have a crush on someone, but like, this is giving me Joe Goldberg from the You series vibes. So excited to read that and see how that turns out. I also got an ARC. Well, these are not even ARCs. These are actually finished copies, but these are like from the publisher. This is Old Enough by Haley Jacobson. Okay, so this is a queer love story. Also looks like it's going to have some Me Too elements to it. So if that is triggering for anyone, I would definitely probably avoid this book. But it does have representation of being bisexual, which is the reason why I wanted to read it. But it follows Savannah Henry. She is in her sophomore year of college, and she's just now coming out as bisexual, and she's like fully like kind of like exploring that, going on being in a relationship and dating, you know, just dating in general. And one of her friends gets married, and I think she's like facing that, like what happened between her and her brother, her and her best friend's brother, when she was 16. I'm thinking maybe something not so good happened with him. I'm not really sure, but this seems like it's going to be a heavy read, but I'm definitely excited to see what it has to offer. And yeah. Then we have a fantasy arc. This is Wings, Once Cursed and Bound, and it is by Piper Drake. Okay, so this one's going to be Really, really interesting. It reminds me, I always have like an example of like one of these books, but it reminds me of the Mortal Instruments series where we have Clary and how she just didn't know that the magical world existed at all, and then all of a sudden she's swept into it, and it's up to her to kind of like help people and things like that. So here we have Preorders, I hope I'm saying her name right, but she is a dancer, and outside of one of her dance rehearsals, there's like a big clash outside of the door. So she comes out and there's a vampire there that tells her that he represents a secret organization dedicated to locating objects of myth and magics and hiding them away from people who can use them to do harm, and that she is cursed, and the curse is going to kill her. So that is what I got from reading the summary. It sounds really, really good. I actually am excited to read this as well, and it's a very short book. It comes with like a few like little informational thing, but it's definitely like, what, 300 pages? It's not even, it's 290 pages. This is definitely going to be a quick read. Then we have Kismet, and this is by Becky Chaslin. Okay, so it follows Amy, Jo, and Ben. Amy and Jo are twins, and Ben is Amy's like childhood sweetheart turned husband. They are about to have like their 30th birthday, but there's like a wedding ceremony for Jo it's gonna start to conflict, and apparently there's someone from their past that Amy is not ready to see. I don't really get much else from this book. It's interesting because I want to see how that dynamic works. I know the relationship between Amy and Ben is not the best, so I'm kind of wanting to see that on page. But like I would say, like, I feel like I'm more interested in all of the other books so far. Let's see. Then we have Heartburn, and this is by Nora Ephron. This is interesting. I'm not really sure if this is up my alley per se. This turns out Rachel discovers that her husband Mark is in love with another woman, and she decides to try to win him back. I don't know. We're not winning people back. We're letting them go this year. Like, this is the time to let them go. I will still give it a read. I will still give it a try, and hopefully, like, maybe I'll understand it, but I do not like cheating at all, like, in my books. I do not. Oh, then we have The Art of a Scandal by Regina Black. This I have been waiting on. I have been look at this cover, girl. Look at this cover. Doesn't it look scandalous? Okay, so now I'm gonna look like a hypocrite because I'm excited about this even though it has cheating in it. I do not like cheating at all, like, in my books. So here's the thing. I'm excited about this even though it has cheating in it. I know, I'm not a hypocrite because here's why. She decides to leave him, but he's the mayor. So it's like he's the mayor, he's 40 years old, and his wife, Rachel, receives a text message from him, and it's like really sexy and nice, and she realized it wasn't meant for her. So that's how she discovers that he's cheating on her. Of course, she wants to leave, but he gives her an offer of $1 million, and she gets the house and the wealthy DC suburbs if she just agrees to remain the wealthy trophy wife until after the election. And of course, plot twist, there is a 26-year-old artist that comes in and she falls in love with him. It's messy. Okay, I do not like treating tropes, but if it is in there, I would prefer the character leave that character. Like, I'm unforgiving when it comes to that. Like, I don't know. But with this, it's like messy, and I don't think the cheating would be a big issue here because obviously that relationship is over. So even with her probably going to cheat with this other guy, I feel like the relationship is understood to be over, and now it's just like a financial kind of thing. So I'm excited to read this. Like, I'm ready to read it right now. Then we have Flawless, Lessons in Looks and Culture from the K-Beauty Capital. This is a non-fiction book where it talks about the Korean beauty industry. I'm excited to read about that, although it's not typically something that I would pick up. Then we have The Spectacular by Fiona Davis. Okay, this is actually really interesting because at first I saw New York City 1956 and I immediately inwardly groaned because if you guys know me at all, I do not like historical fiction. However, I like thrillers regardless of what time period it takes place in. So historical thrillers would be okay for me. And this is a historical thriller. So it follows a 19-year-old, her name is Marion Brooks. She's about to get proposed to and have like this ordinary, boring life that she doesn't want. One of the things that she wants to do is to audition for the Radio City Rockettes, which is like a dancing troupe. This all takes place in New York. And at the same time, there's like a bomber that they call the Big Apple Bomber. They go around bombing places in New York. And so the police hires like this detective, his name is Peter, to like help figure out who the bomber is. And somehow, I don't know how, but Marion gets loops in the investigation and has to help. It sounds interesting, but I do have like a pet peeve of like, in the books, it'd be like the most unexpected person to be pulled into an investigation. You just don't need any qualifications at all to solve a mystery in these stories. That is a pet peeve, because I think it's just disrespectful to like detectives in general to just be like, little kids can be, or teenagers can be solving mysteries and stuff. Like, and I grew up on Nancy Drew. I did. But her dad was a cop. Like, she's been trained her whole life to solve crimes. That makes sense in my head. But for someone who has no connections to police officers at all to come and solve a mystery, to me, makes no sense. Okay, and the last thing I got was this like little marketing box here. It says, "Don't change the channel." And when you open it, it says they're watching. It's really cool. And then you get a book. You also get some other stuff. You also get a pin that said, "I Survived Clifford Island." So the book in this box is Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. And it's actually blurred by R.L. Stine, which is like one of my favorite like childhood horror writings. Like R.L. Stine actually was the reason why I wanted to be a writer as a kid. Like, I wanted to write a horror novel. Like, I feel as though what I could write would be completely different than what's out there, because I feel like internally, y'all don't know this, I'm very messed up. Like, if I write a book, you're not gonna know what happened, and I can guarantee you no one will survive. Like, I don't even like when it's like a final girl. I want everything bad to happen. I don't want anyone to survive, and I want everyone to be like shocked. I want jump scares. I want no one to feel safe at any time reading my book. That's why I have to write a book, because I want that book, and I don't think it exists just yet. So this book follows Willow Stone. She is a mother whose son recently passed away, and she finds later on in his room the words Clifford Island written on the floor in his room. And she decides to investigate to figure out what happened to her son. Clifford Island is an island that seems to be obsessed with 1994. They live as though they are still stuck in 1994. So the technology is still the same. And of course, like 1994 is like when the O.J. Simpson thing happened. So they're still watching the chase every single day. They don't know how that ended. Maybe they do know, they just don't care. But they don't have technology, or they have the technology that was out in 1994. I lived in 1994. We didn't have nothing in 1994, for real. So that's not a lot of stuff. But yeah, there's a girl there named Lily, and she is sick of living on this island. She wants to live somewhere else. She wants to like prove that their beliefs of them living in 1994 is like a complete sham. Like, wow. Like, I'm reading as I say this stuff. Y'all, the mother disappears. That, I was not expecting that. Like, how is like the summary a plot twist? But it says then Willow disappears. Like, dang, she never figured out what happened to her son. And then her brother, like, I was a new person. Her brother Harper comes to look for her. Like, damn, how is it going to be a person looking for a person, then another person comes to look for that person that's looking for another person? I don't get it. But yes, so Harper must be the main character of this story, and he's trying to look for his missing sister, and he don't know if he's gonna get out alive. This sounds really, really good. This sounds messy. This sounds gory. I just know it's gonna be gore. And I love the 90s. Like, that's my time. The time was the 1991, baby. Okay, I was like 3 years old, but I know there wasn't nothing in 1994. It's a few days later. I don't know how long it's been, but I got some things in the mail today and I wanted to do an update on my haul so that I don't have to wait forever to like film an updated haul. Okay, so I got some things in the mail, but I also got some things from Target. So let's do the Target stuff first. Target is having a spend $20, get $5 off on books. So I did 3 different orders. I kind of stopped whenever I hit the $20 threshold because I put them all together in one cart and it was only giving me $5 off instead of $15. So I just did 3 different orders so that I got $5 off of each $20 that I spent. Okay, so this is the first one. So I got this book. This is a manga and it's Komi Can't Communicate. It's volume 1. I don't know, I'm just intrigued by the cover. I think it looks really fun and cool and girly. I'm just like, I like it. So not only do I like it, but I also think my friend Simone would also like this as well. So I feel as though like once I read it, I can like share it with her. The next book I got is a book that I kind of really wanted to read in the first place, and this is Underneath the Sycamore Tree from B. Celeste. I actually had the privilege of meeting B. Celeste at a Polycon this year, and she was so amazing. And I really wanted this book, but she had sold out of it at her table, so I added it to my wish list, and Target had a sale, so now there we go. And then finally we got The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is a book that I've seen on Book Talk so many times. I'm a thriller girly, so I feel like I need to have the latest thriller that's like everyone is talking about. I also want to get the sequel, but I wanted to try out the first one first. Okay, so the next book that I got was from Tessa Bailey. I didn't even hear about this one. Like, I feel like there was no promotion for this one, but this one is Too Beautiful to Break. Tessa Bailey, super excited to read this. I love that it's pink, matches my nails almost, like cool. And then I actually just got this because of the cover. It looked really interesting and it looked like it was going to be a thriller, and I love thrillers. But this one is called This Delicious Death and it's by Kayla Cottenham. It was, I think, like around $8, so I was, you know, not mad at it. It says it's a girl eat girl world. First of all, look at those nails. I am a sucker for like bright, fun colors of nails. And finally, I got Love Light Form. This is by BK Borison. I've heard so many great things about this series. I think this is book 1 and it was only $10, and so I had to really like snap that one up, and I was so excited about it. So I'm excited to read this and give it a shot. I also got some pre-orders that came in between now and my previous clip. So first up we have Tracy Livesey's The Duchess Effect. This is the sequel to American Royalty. That is a book that I read. I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. And so of course this was already like a automatic pre-order. So it's really cool. The concept of the story is kind of like if Meg Thee Stallion like married someone in the royal family. It's just like so unexpected that it's interesting. So I don't know, I really love the first book, so I can't wait to see like what happens in this one. And then we got My Week with Him by Joya Goffney. This is an author that I really enjoyed. Another book by her, I think it was Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. Really enjoyed that. I think someone also said Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry, which is also by the same author, was really good as well. So I'm excited to try that one as well, but I had to get this one. I really enjoyed the first book of hers that I read, and so I'm addicted now. I also got an early release, and this one is called I Did It For You, and it's by Amy Engel. Looks like it's a thriller. Okay, so it follows a woman named Greer Dunning. Her sister was murdered 14 years ago when they were, I guess, children or teenagers. Now, current day, there is like a copycat killer that is like haunting the town. And so she returns home to kind of figure out what happens. This sounds like a book that I would genuinely enjoy. So I can't wait to read this one as well. But yeah, those are the books that I have recently received. Yes, back to the original video. But yes, so that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content from me. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.